In a brutal world, Roberto Duran was the most vicious. They called him Manos de Piedra. He was a born fighter, a warrior.
Panama's international sports star, Duran ran his record to an astonishing 82-1, propelled by a fury few ever possess.
This is round one at Madison Square Garden. On the right of your screen is the lightweight champion of the world, Roberto Duran. And now at the top of your screen is Monroe, a native of Texas, fighting out of Los Angeles. And as we commented earlier, certainly the toughest competitor that Duran has faced over the weight. And Brooks weighing in at 143, Duran at 147. And Gil Clancy, Duran looks to me to be a little heavy around the waist. I wonder how fit he is for this fight.
Well, I'll tell you, Tim, he weighed 147 on the nose at the weigh-in. But right now, I would say his weight is about 152 pounds. Now, that's 17 pounds above the lightweight limit.
And apparently had a hard time getting down to 147.
Yes, he did. That's why I say he probably weighs 152 right now. He probably dried out, didn't have any breakfast. As soon as the weigh-in is over, he probably had some bouillon and then a good big breakfast. And then a big steak about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And right now, as I say, about 152 pounds.
Well, as the fight goes on, we'll watch to see whether that will be a factor or not. The fact that he doesn't look real slim and trim, and the fact that he had to really work hard to get down to the weight. But he's throwing punches in this first round like he's in excellent physical condition. Certainly Brooks is. He looks terrific.
Monroe looks like a trained racehorse. There's not an ounce of fat on him.
Look at this flurry by Duran, attacking as he always does right from the opening bell. Referee is Arthur Mercanti, well known throughout boxing circles and particularly well known in New York.
You know, Tim, this is going to be an interesting fight. We also have to see if Duran can take a welterweight's punch. Monroe Brooks has knocked out 27 of his opponents in 46 fights. That's better than the 50% average. He can punch. Let's see if he moves Duran when he hits him.
Duran has been fighting some other fights over the weight, and indeed recently against Adolfo Viruet, Ezekiel Obando. He won a decision over Viruet and knocked out Obando. But this is, as we commented earlier, certainly the toughest welterweight opponent he has faced. This is one of the top-ranked welterweights in Monroe Brooks. We're under a minute to go in round one.
Right now, Duran looks like much the physically stronger fighter. I like that little move he makes, Tim. You see, he feints that left hook and steps over to the right. He actually puts his right foot behind Brooks' left. Takes him out of position. He can't get hit, and he can hit himself.
One of the things that we've noticed about Duran in his last few fights is his tremendous improvement as a boxer. People still think of him, I think, as a street slugger, a guy that just came out there and threw leather and overpowered people, but he's really polished himself as a boxer.
Yes, he has. Got hit with two vicious left hooks.
Final seconds, Gil, of round number one for Madison Square Garden. Rounds 2 and 3, a fairly even fight with Brooks holding his own, but Duran having a slight edge and just seeming to get stronger. So I guess, Gil Clancy, the fact that he doesn't look exactly slim and trim around the waistline is not going to be a factor, at least so far. We're in round number 4.
I tell you, Tim, he's carrying the weight real well. His body's even starting to look better as the fight goes on.
He still throws punches in bunches, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's a strong welterweight. He can handle the division.
Roberto Duran on the right of your screen, and you can see he's lost the N off the name on the bottom of his trunks. Apparently kind of stuck on there with some kind of adhesive, and he's lost the letter N. But that, I'm sure, is the farthest thing from his mind. The sheer joy of boxing is what you see with Duran, and if he gets hit, that's usually when he'll smile and then come back with a flurry of his own.
Well, I tell you, Brooks says, oh, good, this guy hit with a big right hand.
Straight right from Duran.
And I tell you, I like Brooks. When he gets hit a good hard punch, he fights back. He fights hard. That's what keeps him in the ballgame, Tim.
Duran has lost only once in 64 career professional fights. That to Esteban de Jesus. He revenged it with a victory for the lightweight championship.
You know, Tim, you talk about the difference in the welterweight and the lightweight division. Probably that right hand that Duran landed. If he had a lightweight with that punch, I think the lightweight would have went down and out.
I would sure think so, and it's happened for him 50 times in 64 fights. Look at this. Duran really working on Brooks, but Brooks showing amazing stamina. We talked about his conditioning back in the first round. He is really ready physically for this fight, and he's showing he can take a punch.
Well, I'll tell you, there's something about that Madison Square Garden that bring the best out in fighters. He knew he was fighting in Madison Square Garden. He knew he was fighting a living legend, and he's in condition and ready to go. It's the opportunity of a lifetime.
Sure is. We've got less than a minute to go in round number 4 for Madison Square Garden. Roberto Duran on the left of your screen now, circling to the right. Brooks giving him a real good scrap, but Duran showing that he can fight at this weight. He's got a long way to go, of course. It's scheduled for 10. You know, you would think... go ahead,
there's a sign of a smart fighter. When the referee broke Brooks, he walked away and he walked behind the referee. Gave him a chance to regroup. Yeah. That's something that's taught in the gymnasium. Doesn't happen by accident.
Well, Brooks showing his class. And again, his stamina as he took another fine right hand from Duran. Duran just looks like he loves being in that ring. Got to be the most exciting boxer active today. There are a lot of good ones around, but Duran would have to be at the top of the heap for fan appeal. Final seconds, round 4. Round number 6, Roberto Duran and Monroe Brooks. In the 5th round, Brooks came back strongly against Duran, but I guess we'd still have to have Duran ahead at this point, Gil.
Oh, yeah, Duran has won just about every round, but Brooks has been in every round, Tim. It's a question of Brooks landing one big punch and hurting Duran. If he can't do that, he can't win the fight.
Roberto Duran on the left of your screen, Brooks on the right. Two well-conditioned athletes. We talked about the conditioning of Duran. As you can see, he doesn't look all that fit around the waistline, but boy, he has been throwing leather like he is in excellent shape. The 6th round, and Duran so far through 6 rounds against a class opponent like Brooks has shown he can do very well against the welterweights. And boy, there are a lot of great fighters in this class, Gil.
Yes, there are. The welterweight division today, Tim, has more class fighters than any other division. You have the 2 champions. You have Palomino, you have Cuevas, you have Benitez, you have Weston, you have Dave Green, Sugar Ray Leonard. Just a great class. And with Duran moving up into the class, it's probably going to be the most exciting class in boxing today.
Boy, there's a youngster in Detroit, the name of Tommy Hearns, getting a lot of attention. He's been flattening everybody in sight. He's going to be a factor soon against name opponents.
Yes, you mentioned his name, and all of the top welterweights managers shake.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be trying to duck him for a while, but he's a name you're going to hear more about, Tommy Hearns. But right now, you're looking at Roberto Duran, the lightweight champion of the world, fighting at 147 pounds. He looks very comfortable at this weight. In fact, there's talk about Duran maybe even becoming a middleweight at some point.
Well, no, I would have to say that the welterweight limit is going to be it for Roberto Duran because of his height and his square build. But I think that he can handle welterweights. He's going to be a factor and maybe even a champion in a short time.
Good right hand is too
short punches he's landing on Brooks now.
Now look at that look on his face, Gil. This is what makes him so exciting. He just loves the combat. Under a minute to go. We're in round 6. The crowd really loving it here in New York, as they do everywhere when Duran's fighting. And credit to Monroe Brooks. Ooh, Brooks is lucky Duran missed that one.
Yeah, but he didn't miss the follow-up. He knows his way on the inside, too. He keeps his elbows in close, keeps him close to the body, and he's a good defensive fighter now, Roberto Duran.
Well, that's what we talked about earlier. Under 30 seconds to go. He has really developed as a boxer. He's much more than a fighter now. Referee Mercanti doing a good job, as always.
See the way Duran follows up. He throws a right hand, left hook comes right behind it.
Final seconds of round number 6. And again, Brooks hanging in there, but taking more punishment. And now we're in round number 8. And Duran really seems to be dominating Brooks now for the first time, showing a little signs of tiring, Gil.
Yes, he is. Duran has been setting a tremendous pace, and he's been landing some heavy punches to Monroe Brooks.
And punishment. And any question about Duran's conditioning is moot now, because he has continued to throw a lot of punches and throw them together. Lots of combinations, showing no fatigue whatsoever.
I tell you, Brooks still looks like he's in good condition, but he's starting to flinch when Duran feints. He's feeling the effects of the punches.
Roberto Duran, 63 victories, only 1 defeat.
Did you see Brooks try to jump up and down? That means he's not feeling his legs too good. He actually tried to feel and say, are my legs still there? He wants to know. We'll find out.
Oftentimes you'll see fighters do that as they're taking more punishment as the fight advances, and that's a good point you make, Gil, that fight fans to understand what the fighter's trying to do at that point. See what he's got left under him. Round 8, Duran just landed another tough, short left. You can just see Brooks' head snap back from the punch. Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy. Brooks and Duran from Madison Square Garden in New York, round 8. Scheduled for 10. Duran just standing in there flat-footed now, measuring. Whoop, down he goes. A hard left to the body.
Left hook to the liver, Jim.
5.
Boy, that hurt him.
6.
And it doesn't look like he's going to get up from that.
8. 9. 10.
That's it. It's all over. Arthur Mercanti says, sorry, Monroe. You've really had enough. It was a left to the body, right to the liver as Gil Clancy.